ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. This chapter, titled Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. So, upon enquiry of Vidura, Maitreya Muni started describing about the creation, how Brahma created this material world. So, first of all, Brahma created 5 kinds of nescience: Tamishra, Andatamishra, Tamas, Moha and Mahamoha. Then after that, Brahmaji, so he became disgusted because of Yakshas and Rakshasa were all coming from his body because of these things. So they wanted to eat Brahma's body. Then Brahma just was disgusted, and then he gave birth to demigods also, those who are in the mode of goodness. And then Brahma created demons, those who are predominantly in the mode of passion and ignorance, those who are afflicted by too much of lust and sex appetite. And because of their sex appetite, they started chasing even Brahma only. They started going behind Brahma. So Brahma initially just laughed at their stupidity. Hey, what are you doing? But when he saw that they are very serious and they are still approaching Brahma, he became serious now. First he laughed and then he became serious, and then he started running towards Supreme Lord. Trahimam, Trahimam, please protect me from these demoniac creatures, those who are after me. So when he approached, the Lord suggested him, cast off this impure body. And after the Lord's instructions, the Brahma gave up his body. So the body which Brahma gave up, it was not like any creatures in this world giving up the body. Brahma being there, he gave up a subtle body of impure thought. So that thought, he gave up that thought. So that body took the form of evening twilight, that is Sandhya. So that became Sandhya. But demons, those who are inflicted by ignorance, they thought it as a female body. So that's how this description is coming. So this is all what description given in this Bhagavatam is. Demons, they are imagining a female body with this kind of features and all those things. So in the last verses, that female body, the evening twilight, which came from the Lord Brahma's body, is being described. So in this verse, the different bodily features of a typical feminine body is being described. And a beautiful point here in this purport, the 31st verse, where Maitreya is addressing Vidura as Dharma, because Vidura is the very saintly person, protector of Dharma. So he's addressed as Dharma, O Vidura. So he's telling that, adorned with dark tresses, she hid herself as it were out of shyness. Upon seeing that, the asuras were all infatuated with an appetite for sex. First of all, they took it that itself was a very false form. It's their imagination. And now, by seeing that, their attraction for the sex life increased. So in the Purport, Prabhupada mentions the difference between demons and demigod is that a beautiful woman very easily attracts the mind of demons, but she cannot attract the mind of a godly person. So very important statement which Prabhupada is making here. Only those who are in the mode of ignorance or mixture of ignorance and passion get afflicted or attracted by this beauty are the opposite sex. Those who are godly, they are not generally attracted by these kind of false forms or attraction to opposite sex. Last week or so, entire Indian media is filled with one news: bomb blast in Delhi. It's a suicidal, now as per the media reports, it's a suicide bomb attack. A terrorist group of terrorists, they were planning to attack India in a big way, but somehow, so it turned out to be a suicidal attack where I think 2 to 3 terrorists were there inside the car. They blasted car along with themselves, killing few more civilians. So if we just analyze the mentality of a terrorist, he is ready to give up his body. He knows that eventually, sooner or later, he will be killed. Either because of they themselves blowing up, or some other military forces killing them. So can you just imagine how can a person prepare himself to untimely death? If someone tells you, you go and commit suicide or you die for me, it's very difficult. It's not so easy. That means they have crossed one stage of bodily concept of life. One sense we can say they have come out of the bodily concept of life. We say, no, you are not this body, you are spirit, soul. Why you are lamenting for the deterioration condition of this body? We should be thinking of welfare of the soul. Even though they don't know this Vedanta philosophy, but to some extent they are, so to say, we can say that they have come out of the bodily concept of life. But along with this terrorist bomb attack, there was a news that there are some female terrorists involved in this entire mastermind. So some of their head office, they wanted to establish a female terrorist camp in India as well, so that they can carry out some more such attacks. So then female terrorist is not a new term as such, because even in the terrorist group there were females involved before, but mostly because of they were used as sex slaves to satisfy their sex appetite or to satisfy their sense gratification. One side, they are ready to give up their body, they have prepared themselves to give up their body to die. On the other side, they are not able to control their senses. That's why they are hiring women to use them as a sex slaves. So from this we can understand how deep rooted is this attachment for the opposite sex or attachment for the sex life. That's what here in this verse it is mentioned, that demons were too much afflicted by the sex life. The moment they saw that, their appetite even further increased. A person is ready to give up. He has left his family, he has left his high-paid jobs, everything. There are well-educated even among the terrorist groups. But the one thing they are not able to still come out is this attachment for the opposite sex. There is some issue in this, maybe you can check later. Attachment for the opposite sex. Their sense control they are not able to do. Why is that? That's what here in this verse in the Purport Prabhupada mentions. A godly person is full of knowledge and a demoniac person is full of ignorance. Just as a child is attracted by a beautiful doll, similarly a demon who is less intelligent and full of ignorance is attracted by material beauty and an appetite for sex. Because they are in ignorance, just like Prabhupada gives an analogy here, child is attracted by a beautiful doll. Sometimes we see, गुड्डा गुड़िया का खेल, उनका शादी कराना है, उनको as if children, small childs, they take that, they make him sleep, they make that sleep, they bathe, they give a fresh garments, sometimes tum kalo for the doll. So because they don't know that this is a doll, this is a lifeless form. So similarly, here Prabhupada is comparing the demoniac persons as just like a child is attracted by beautiful doll. Similarly, demon who is less intelligent and full of ignorance is attracted by material beauty and an appetite for sex. Because he does not know that this sense gratification or appetite for sex is a bondage for me. This will perpetually keep me in this material world. They are not able to understand. Whereas a saintly person, a godly person is full of knowledge. Because he is full of knowledge, he has properly understood what is he supposed to be doing. What is he supposed to be doing and what is not supposed to be doing. So where from the knowledge comes to a saintly person? Here Prabhupada mentioned he is in knowledge, that's why he doesn't get attracted by this false beauty. But whereas, where from that knowledge comes? So from the first canto, second chapter Srimad Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami states, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam. Where from knowledge comes? Knowledge comes automatically, without any endeavor, without much endeavor, knowledge automatically comes by following Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha. If someone is engaged in performing devotional service to that Vasudeva, then naturally Janayati Ashu Vairagyam. Janayati means naturally. Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chatat Ahaitukam. Ahaitukam means with a cause. So there has to be some reason. Ahaitukam means with no reason, without any cause. That means naturally. So naturally, when a person performs devotional service, two things naturally comes out. What those are? Jnana and Vairagya. Janayati Ashu Vairagyam. Jnana and Vairagya, they naturally come by performing devotional service. That's why saintly person or godly person, he doesn't get attracted to these false beauties. Even though just like a demoniac person, even a saintly person also may have an appetite for sex life, but he knows that this is not good for me, and when he performs devotional service, naturally that vairagya, detachment, will make him free from this attraction for the false forms. That's the power of devotional service. So in this verse, Purport, Prabhupada mentions, in the bhakti cult, being the supermost occupation of the living being leads him out of material sense enjoyment, devotional service. Since it is the supermost occupation among all different ladders of bhakti yoga, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains about different ladders: Karma Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Jnana Yoga, then Bhakti Yoga. So among the different yogas, Bhakti Yoga is the topmost. That's what Krishna has concluded. So when someone performs that, then he naturally, that Bhakti Yoga, the process will lead him to out of the material sense enjoyment. So this is a sign of a pure devotee. He is not a fool, nor is he engaged in the inferior energies, nor does he have material values. This is not possible by dry reasoning. It actually happens by the grace of the Almighty. How a person comes to real knowledge? He is practicing devotional service and being the topmost occupation of the living entity. So that leads him to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and because of the mercy of the Almighty, because of the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, person becomes easily free from these kinds of false attractions. In conclusion, one who is a pure devotee has all other good qualities, namely knowledge, detachment, etc. But one who has only knowledge or detachment is not necessarily well acquainted with the principles of the bhakti cult. So now here it is said that bhakti yoga, by following bhakti yoga, one will attain knowledge and detachment, bhakti, jnana and vairagya. So then what if someone has jnana and vairagya but he is not a devotee? No, that's not a ideal condition. Even someone may have independently jnana and vairagya, but without bhakti, that is not the right condition for a saintly person. Saintly person has to, First of all, if he follows devotional service, natural this will come. Instead, if someone is a very, say we say any impersonalist in that way, or any Buddhist, we can say, we can consider them as an example. So they are not the topmost as such, even though they are detached from this material world, they are detached from the sense gratification. They have a knowledge that we are not supposed to be engaged in sense gratification activities in this world, but still they are not considered as the topmost because they miss bhakti, they miss the surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, or accepting Krishna as the only Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that blessing of the Almighty is also very much required along with Jnana and Vairagya. In conclusion, one who is a pure devotee has all other good qualities, namely knowledge and detachment, but one who has only knowledge or detachment is not necessarily well acquainted with the principles of bhakti cult. The bhakti is the supermost occupation of the human being. Like in the Varnashrama Dharma, everyone is supposed to be doing their duties. They have certain duties, they have certain responsibilities. So the highest kind of duty and responsibility or occupational duty is to perform devotional service. That's what is explained. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha. That's the topmost thing. So by practicing that, one can become free from all these kinds of attractions. So this sense gratification or attraction towards the opposite sex or sex appetite, Krishna elaborately describes again in Bhagavad Gita. So in the 3rd chapter towards the end, Arjuna asks a question to Krishna that a person, even though he doesn't want to commit sinful activities, but still he does, as if someone is forcing him. What is the reason? So, atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichinnam api varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. Baladiva, as if someone is forcing him. What is the reason? So, Krishna gives the answer, very famous verse, kama yesha krodha yesha rajoguna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapna vidyeniha vairinaha. It is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is all devouring sinful enemy of this world, which is all devouring sinful enemy, which will devour you, which will finish you off if lust is there in a person. That's why even though he doesn't wish to act sinfully, he acts as if someone is forcing him. He is actually not in his own control. He is controlled by lust. This is what Krishna answers. But further, Krishna gives a very detailed explanation for this. What is lust? How one can come out of the lust. So next verse Krishna gives analogy. As fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, or an embryo is covered by the womb, similarly, the living entity is covered by different degrees of this lust. Every living entity, whether conscious or unconscious, everyone is covered by lust, but it's a different degree. A layman will not be able to identify, just like a mirror is covered by dust. So if it is too much covered by dust, we will not be able to even recognize it's a mirror actually. Layman will not be able to do that. So similarly, this lust covers the intelligence of a person. That's how he act helplessly as if someone is forcing him. Then next verse. So next verse Krishna says, Avrutam gnana metena gnanino nitya vairina kama rupena kaunteya dushpurena alenacha. Thus a man's pure consciousness is covered by this eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. So, man's pure consciousness, we have chittam, shuddha chittam, but that is covered by eternal enemy in the form of lust. Even previous verse also Krishna said it is an eternal enemy. It is all devouring and eternal enemy. Vidyeniha vairinaha. So again Krishna is repeating, this is an eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. What if a building catches fire? Will it see, oh, it's a valuable item, I should not burn. Okay, this is a less valuable item, let me burn. Whatever comes in touch with the fire, it will turn into ashes. That's the quality of a fire. Similarly, the lust is also like that. All the godly qualities, all the good qualities, whatever a person has, everything is devoured. Everything is finished because of this lust. Beautiful statement Prabhupada makes in this particular verse purport. It is said in the Manusmriti that lust cannot be satisfied by any amount of sense enjoyment, just as fire is never extinguished by constant supply of fuel. Just like some of the so-called spiritualists, they recommend that just like you are hungry, you eat. You have special attraction for rasgulla. You go on eating rasgulla, 1 rasgulla, 2, 5, 10, 15. After that, even though you have an affection for rasgulla, after 15 you will say, no, I don't want rasgulla. Similarly, lust is an enemy for any saintly person. Go on engaging in that lust only, one fine day you will become free from that lust. You will become averse to that lust, just like rasgulla. No, it is not like that. This analogy will never work. That's what here Prabhupada is mentioning, that lust cannot be satisfied by any amount of sense enjoyment. If someone says that, go on engaged in your sense enjoyment, one fine day you will become disgusted towards that sense enjoyment and you will turn towards your face towards the spiritual path. That's not going to happen. Why? Because fire is never extinguished by a constant supply of fuel. Actually, what happens if you keep indulging in sense gratification, hoping that one day I'll become free from this sense gratification? It's not going to happen like that. Why? Because that habitual circuit what we are creating in our brain, there is a desire. So whenever desire comes, I'll chase after that desire. Then I will engage in that. For a temporary period, I become satisfied. But does that actually go away? In one sense, we are making that wrong circuit very strong in our brain. Even though temporarily it may look like, okay, for that particular period, I look like very tired or not interested, but immediately after that, whenever there is a second desire, immediately that circuit becomes active and you will be forced to go into chasing after sense gratification. That's why this process will never be able to bring us to the platform of spiritual path. In other sense, actually we are going negatively. Instead of moving forward, we are going downward. So that's why Prabhupada is quoting from Manusmriti. In this material world, the center of all activities is sex. And thus, this material world is called Maituna Agara. Agara means center or epicenter, we say, no? This material world is called as Maituna Agara or shackles of sex life. Whenever there is a notorious criminal or a serial killer or one who has certain such a background of or a history of notorious criminal activities, what do the government do? They put them in the jail. Not in an ordinary jail. Even in the jail, even inside the jail, there will be special cells where they are kept only when that person is kept separately with strong security measures. Sometimes when they are notorious, when they are not coming under control, they chain them. They bind them using either rope or shackles. Similarly, Maya, she uses different methods to bind the jiva to this material world. The strongest binding which Maya uses is this shackle. Suppose if someone is tied, his hands and legs are tied with an iron shackle. If it is a rope, if it is a cotton rope, okay, we know that there are so many methods where we can untie that or we can break that. But whereas if it is an iron shackle, it is very, very difficult. So Maya uses even more stronger shackle. What is that? The sex appetite. Maituna Agara. So if someone is bound by this, if someone is too much into sense gratification, It's very, very, very difficult to come out of this material world. This is the method, this is the methodology Maya uses to keep these living entities in this material world perpetually. Unless someone becomes free from sense gratification, especially free from sex life, it's very, very difficult. Prabhupada narrates a story of Akbar and Birbal. So Akbar asks a person that, when a person becomes free from sense gratification, Birbal answers that, till he dies, he will not become free from desire of sense gratification. Yeah, how can you say this? Okay, when he is young, he wants to enjoy more and more, but when he becomes old, how will he enjoy? So then he takes him to a person who is about to die, and he tells that, you bring your young daughter. So when the king took the young daughter to the person who is dying, he was looking at his face, and that man who is dying, he is looking at, not at the king, but king's daughter. That means to say that the sense gratification is so strong, even the senses, external senses may not be working, but inside desire will not go away. The sense gratification desire will not go away. Physically, externally, you may not be you may not be in a position to indulge in sex or sense gratification, but inside that will not go away. That's why here Prabhupada is saying that this material world is called Maitunagara, or the shackles of sex life. It's very, very difficult. That's what here the demons, they misunderstood, they mistook the body which Brahma left, the evening twilight, as a beautiful form, and they are going after that because they were already afflicted by sex desire. That was the reason why they were going behind Brahmaji. So when they are already afflicted and they want to indulge now, so they saw this, some form, whatever it may be, they started imagining that it's a beautiful form, and they started going after or chasing behind that form again. So next, in the ordinary prison house, criminals are kept within bar. Similarly, criminals who are disobedient, as we discussed. Similarly, Maya, using this Maitunagara or sex life, tries to bind the living entities perpetually to this material world. Okay, this is what Kṛṣṇa is explaining. Then what is the solution? There has to be a solution, right? At least in spiritual life, we don't have any problem without a solution. Problems are there. We know that this is the problem. This is going to be a danger for me. So along with the danger, there is a solution also. So then Kṛṣṇa also is giving a solution that Tasmat tvam indriyan adau niyamya bharatarshava papmanam prajahi hi enam jnana vijnana nashanam. So Kṛṣṇa finally is giving a solution to Arjuna. What one is supposed to be doing? O Arjuna, O best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses, and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. If the lust is not controlled, what it is going to do? It will slay the knowledge and self-realization. It will lead to self-destruction. Forget about other destruction. कहते हैं ना कि अंदर ही अंदर खा जाएगा आपको. So that is the potency, power of lust. Sitting within, and I just skipped one verse where Kṛṣṇa says that where is the lust? Where it takes shelter in a person's body. So Kṛṣṇa says that senses, mind, and intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. That means lust is within. It's there in our mind. It's there in our senses. It's there in our intelligence. So sitting within, it will destroy our self-realization and destroy the knowledge also. So that's why you should control the senses, control the mind, and using proper intelligence from the very beginning. Not that, okay, why people say, hey, you have a time, this is the time for enjoyment, enjoy the world, and then time will come, then you can renounce everything and you go and you become a sadhu. Why at this young age? What Kṛṣṇa is saying is that this has to be curbed from the very beginning, not at the old age. By then, the circuits would have become so strong, even if you want, it's very, very difficult to come out of that. That's why the Vedic principle The Varnashrama says that, the brahmacharya should be started from the very beginning, from the 5 years of age, through proper training. And then, with the proper understanding, with the proper knowledge, if someone wants to get into Grihastha he can get into. Because he knows that ultimately, this is Grihastha is a temporary period. I am not going to be in the Grihastha forever. Then he has to take Vanaprastha and then become sannyasa. Because he is properly trained from the very beginning. If not trained, what will happen? He will think that this sense gratification is all in all. My life is meant for sense gratification. Kavo piyo ash karo. If someone has brought up in that culture, how can he actually even think about becoming free from sense gratification? For him, it is practically impossible. So, then how to control? Krishna here he said towards the end, in the series of these verses, Krishna said, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses. So then, how to curb the lust? Regulating the senses. How to regulate the senses? As I said, Bhagavatam not just discusses about the problem. Bhagavatam also discusses about the solution. So in this very same purport, Prabhupada also gives solution. Prabhupada describes about lust, its features, how it is found, what will happen if someone is afflicted by lust. But then how to come out of that lust, the solution is also given in the second part of the purport to this verse. All the beauty a woman can display is only a combination of flesh and blood. Śrī Śaṅkarācārya has advised all persons not to be attracted by the interaction of flesh and blood. Instead, they should be attracted by the real beauty in spiritual life. The real beauty is Kṛṣṇa and Rādhā. One who is attracted by the beauty of Radha and Kṛṣṇa cannot be attracted by false beauty of this material world. That's the difference between a demon and a godly person or devotee. So how to control the senses? Controlling the senses by developing attachment for something higher. Rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. How we can give up taste for lower things? By developing taste for higher things. Param drishtva nivartate. So how do we develop? We have if someone is too much attracted to material beauty, instead if he develops attraction for Radha and Kṛṣṇa, then naturally he will become free from attachment to this material form or opposite sex. So Prabhupada, we in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, we see that Harinam Sankirtan, or chanting the holy name of the Lord, is the most sublime method, and it is the highest, chanting the holy names of the Lord. That's the entire Sankirtan movement is all about, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started. So if Sankirtan is the highest, then why deity worship is given? Sometimes people ask this question. You say that chanting the holy name of the Lord is the highest. But only by chanting the holy name of the Lord we can become free from all these attachments. That's also true. Then why deity worship? The answer is in this purport, that to become free from these false attractions, what we have already made up in our mind, this particular attraction will give me some happiness, this particular attraction will give me some satisfaction. So to come out of that, the deity worship is the most efficient method. Not just Prabhupada or Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, even during 6 Goswamis, they all had their personal deities. Krishna himself came through different, we have heard about different pastimes. So, but they were all having deities. They constructed temples. Along with chanting the holy name of the Lord, the deity worship is also important to become free from these false attractions. If someone actually develops attraction for the beautiful form of Radha and Kṛṣṇa, Prabhupada mentions that he will not be attracted by any material beauty. So the deity worship, attraction to Radha and Kṛṣṇa will purify our existence, which helps us to come out of those false understanding. So Prabhupada in this purport is quoting one of the Śaṅkarācārya statement. Śaṅkarācārya has advised all persons not to be attracted by the interaction of flesh and blood. So this is the verse from Bhaja Govindam, famous prayers of Śrī which Prabhupada has many places has quoted this Bhaja Govindam prayers. So the prayer is that Naris Tanabara Nabhidesham Drishtva Mahaga Mohavesham. If someone, Nari Tanabara, if someone, sees a beautiful form of a woman and he gets attracted, what will happen? He is doomed, as mentioned in this verse. That's the quality of a demoniac persons, not godly persons. But what instead one should be doing? Etan mamsa vashadi vikaram manasi vichintaya varam varam. Instead of eta mamsa vashadi, mamsa means flesh and vasadi means blood. Instead of attracted to a form which is made of flesh and blood, one should be attracted towards manasa vichintaya varam varam, and again he has to keep thinking about spiritual forms. Why thinking about spiritual form will purify our existence, and thinking about this form made of flesh and blood will actually entangle us more and more? Because these are all temporary forms. That liquid beauty story Prabhupada narrates. A person was too much attached to one particular girl. She was very beautiful. So he goes and proposes to her. But she was a saintly lady. She wants him to teach a good lesson. So she tells that, come after some days. So she takes some medicines, laxatives, that kind of Prabhupada mentions, where she continuously passes stool and she continuously vomiting, and she stores all those things. And because of this, she becomes very ugly, not looking good as such, looking very old. So then when a person comes, he sees this old lady looking like an old lady and asks her, where is that beautiful girl who had called me on this so and so day? She tells, I am that same girl. He tells, no. What for the form, the beautiful form, what I had seen, this cannot be that form as such. I had seen a very beautiful, very glaring, very attractive form. She tells that, see, same personality, same girl only, what you are saying as an attraction, they are kept inside. You go and see. So she had kept those in buckets. So if you put into this form, this is what you are seeing before, now these two are separated. So that's what Śrī is saying, that, Etha mamsha vashadi vikaram. Vikaram means transformation. This body is what? It's a transformation of flesh and blood. At different ages, it transformed into different forms. From childhood to youthhood to adult, from adult to mid-age, old age. In the old age, same form which was very beautiful, which was very attractive, will look like not so attractive, ugly. So instead of that, what we are supposed to be doing, if we are supposed to develop our attraction towards those eternal forms, Krishna's beauty is not just for some particular period. Kṛṣṇa, when he was in the Kurukshetra, when the Kurukshetra war was going on, he was 125-year-old, but still he was looking like young 16-year-old form. Advaitam achyutam anadim anantarupam adyam purana purusham navayavvanam cha. He is the oldest person, but still navayavvanam cha. He is ever fresh, ever youthful. So if you develop the attraction for that kind of a person, that is what is going to make us free from this world. But here in this purport mentions, a godly person is full of knowledge. So because he is full of knowledge, that's why he doesn't get attracted by these false beauties. So as sadhakas, as practitioners, we have to remember this. So whatever attractions we get, these are all temporary attractions. Sometimes it is said, in the childhood, when we go to the school, we develop some attraction for teachers or some of our fellow classmates. That is called as infatuation. That means without proper knowledge, just it's all some bodily urges, some mental urges. So that infatuation doesn't get over only at the childhood. It carries throughout the life with improper understanding, with immaturity. We get attracted, or we want to associate with different forms, either in the form of father, mother, or wife, or children, or girlfriend. But ultimately, they are all temporary. They are all nothing but transformation of blood and flesh. So as spiritualists, we have to come to this knowledge. And how do we come to this? By practicing bhakti, because knowledge and renunciation is a byproducts of bhakti. You need not have to practice detachment separately. Just like milk is there. Ghee is inside the milk. We may not be able to see ghee inside. We just see a milk. But through a proper process, milk, when it is curd and when curd is churned, butter comes and butter is properly heated, a pure ghee will come out. So there is a process to turn milk into a ghee. Similarly, our impure consciousness presently, what we have, can be purified. It will be purified through a process of devotional service. And one of the process of purification is as mentioned in this verse, developing attachment for beautiful forms of Radha and Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Balaram, and purifying existence through deity worship, developing attachment for those deities. So through this way, through this process, what impure consciousness we have can be purified. Even though impure consciousness has a purified consciousness, it's there. We may not be able to see today. Just like how we are not able to see ghee inside a milk. But it will come out by practicing this devotional service properly, faithfully, without any break. Ahaituki apratiyata yenatma suprasidati. Ahaituki means continuously. It's not like, one day we perform, next day some break, third day we perform, fourth day break. We should try to make it ahaituki, continuous. So through that continuous process, the more we become strong and more we become disciplined, easy the process becomes, and sooner we will get the result. So with this I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.